Welcome to Discourse. That's Retha.
That's Tony.
And today we're talking about the books that are going to be made into movies in 2022. So, because the movie industry has no original ideas, they need to steal all the great ideas from books. And we're going to talk about the books, or at least some of the books that are going to be turned into movies next year in 2022. So the first one, Deepwater. This one's planning on being released in January 14th of 2022. So this is the adaptation of Deepwater by Patricia Highsmith, starring Ben Affleck and Ana de Armas. What is she from, Ana de Armas?
I don't know. I looked up her photo and I don't recognize her from anything. But obviously Ben Affleck is Ben Affleck, so everybody knows who that is.
Yeah, we know who Ben Affleck is.
Good or bad, everybody just knows who Ben Affleck is. I feel like there's a lot of movies that I like with him in it, and even more that I don't like him in it, but it's fine.
So Deepwater. Set in the quiet small town of Little Wesley, Patricia Highsmith has created a vicious and suspenseful tale of love gone sour. It looks like this is a crime fiction story.
Yeah, it's basically they're like in a loveless marriage. He allows his wife to do whatever she needs to be happy, but then he becomes really jealous of the people that she starts to bring into her life, and he tries to win her back. And so it gets super heated, emotional, and I think I don't know, spoiler, it does say it in the synopsis of it, or the description, that he ends up killing one of the guys that she's with. So
okay.
Yeah, it gave me that movie with Diane Lane. Oh shoot, it gave me that whole vibe. I mean, it's like the same story basically, but
well, yeah, you were describing the first part of it and I'm like, oh, some kind of romance?
Definitely.
Lame. And then you said he killed someone. I'm like, yes, I'm on board. He murdered someone.
Yeah, I feel like I would rather watch it than read it. I'm not really into those like murder type of books. So.
All right, so the next one we got is called The Black Phone, released or is going to be released January 28th, 2022.
Okay, and Ethan Hawke is in it. And
yes.
Honestly, anything that Ethan Hawke is in, you should watch it. It doesn't matter if it's even good or bad. Ethan Hawke is in it.
Oh, you goof. Well, isn't that just peachy keen?
You need some help?
You see that?
Yeah.
Would you hand me my hat? Yes, sir. I am a part-time magician.
Are those black balloons in there?
Would you like to see a magic trick?
So this is actually an adaptation from a short story into a movie. So with it being a short story, I haven't read it yet, but I imagine there's not a lot of content in there to fill out a story or to fill out a movie. Mm-hmm. So I'm imagining they're going to get very creative with filling in the gaps.
Yeah, from what I've read, it just sounds like it's going to be really dark and like chilling, like a chiller thing.
I saw the trailer for this. It is very dark. It's like a dark twist on It, kind of, because he's like a clown with some balloons. He's got like black balloons in the trailer. It looks very creepy and supernatural. Ethan Hawke is the bad guy, at least in the trailer.
Huh. Oh, now I really want to see it.
Yeah, he wears this creepy like clown mask, and it's the trailer starts as like a child abduction story.
Oh, that's
he abducts a child, puts him in a basement in this trailer, so I'm not giving anything away. And then once the child is in the basement, it takes a wild twist.
Huh. Okay,
it's like it takes a wild supernatural twist where he's like seeing ghosts, and one of his friends can, I think, talk to him, it seems like, in the trailer.
The little boy or Ethan Hawke's character?
No, Ethan Hawke is the bad guy, like keeping the boy in there. The boy can talk to a ghost, I believe, and then also talk to his friend that's on the outside. And his friend is trying to convince the adults that her friend has been abducted and where he's at.
Man, that sounds so cool.
It looks dark. I like the trailer. So I'm definitely going to read the short story, and then we'll watch the movie and then compare the two.
Yeah, I would definitely read and watch. That sounds awesome.
So the next one we have is called Death on the Nile. This one's being released February.
So Agatha Christie, I mean the author, she's written like, I don't know, millions of books. Millions. I don't know. There's so many people who love her writing. I mean, you had to have read at least one of her books. Everybody.
Yep.
I mean, Super well known.
Everybody has read her book.
Mm-hmm.
I have not read her books.
At least one. I feel like everybody's at least read one.
I think this is the follow-up to the movie they made called Murder on the Orient Express.
Yeah, this is like the second
movie of that, right?
Yeah.
The sequel, I
Yeah.
guess. Following that same detective?
Yes.
Because I
Same
didn't
main
even watch the
What's the
movie.
main
Murder
character?
on the Orient Express. Didn't even watch it.
No, I didn't even watch that either. But it's following the main character. It's like it's kind of like a Sherlock Holmes type of character where he like solves mysteries.
Some kind of mystery. Yeah, somebody dies and he solves a crime. Who knows?
But Gal Gadot's going to be in it.
Let's see. So the next one we have is Where the Crawdads Sing. This one's going to be released June 24th, 2022 on Netflix.
This book is on Reese Witherspoon's book club list.
Oh, dang. If Reese Witherspoon says I should read it,
I know. Then you definitely should. She's awesome.
For years, rumors of the Marsh Girl have haunted Barkley Cove, a quiet town on the North Carolina coast. So in late 1969, when handsome Chase Andrews is found dead, the locals immediately suspect Kaya Clark, the so-called Marsh Girl. But Kaya is not what they say. Sensitive and intelligent, she has survived for years alone in the marsh that she calls home, finding friends in the gulls and lessons in the sand. Then the time comes when she yearns to be touched and loved. When two young men from town become intrigued by her wild beauty, Kaya opens herself to a new life until the unthinkable happens. Oh, Jesus. I don't know what to think about this, okay? Because you're telling me there's a murder. Great. I love crime stories. But then you're talking about how she needs love and how she's sensitive and intelligent.
It's a coming-of-age story. I'm sure it's going to be great. And Reese Witherspoon says it's great, so it's great.
Oh, so it's definitely good. Yeah, it seems like a very emotional story that you have to be willing to, open yourself up to this story.
I'm good.
And I like to be closed off, says my wife.
No.
Let's see the next one we got. This one's called The Nightengale. Released, it's going to be released late next year, December 23rd, 2022. It's going to be a movie. This one's going to star real-life sisters, Dakota Fanning and Elle Fanning.
They are amazing actresses. I think they're great.
So the next one we got is The Storied Life of A.J. Fikry.
So it has one of the actors from Big Bang Theory in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Raj.
Raj.
Yeah.
That's not his name in real life.
No, it's not. It's Kunal Nayyar or something like that.
Yeah. But I'm down to see him in a role. This will be the first role for me to see him in a serious role.
I think it's going to be like dramatic, so I'm pretty excited.
A.J. Fikry's life is not at all what he expected it to be. He lives alone, his bookstore is experiencing the worst sales in its history, and now his prized possession, a rare collection of Poe poems, has been stolen. But when a mysterious package appears at the bookstore, its unexpected arrival gives Fikry the chance to make his life over and see everything anew. That sounds terrible.
No, that sounds so cool, especially for people who love books. I think this is a cool, book lovers story.
A book about books?
Yeah. But he owns a bookstore, for God's sakes. He obviously loves books and the written word, and someone stole his super rare Poe poems.
Edgar Allan Poe?
Yes.
So, I can kind of relate. I have a bunch of books in my shelf that I really like. One was missing the other day, and I brought everybody in the living room. I was like, listen, where is this book? I need it. And then Priscilla was like, are you going to read it? I was like, no, it's not about me reading it. I want it.
I know. What are your alibis?
Who took it? Where were you?
Yeah, I know. That's right.
But
it's like a humor romance, I think.
Yeah, this is a good review from Eowyn Ivy, author of The Snow Child. She says, they say, this novel has humor, romance, a touch of suspense, but most of all, love. Love of books and bookish people, and really all of humanity in its imperfect glory.
You see?
But nobody dies.
And?
Nobody is horribly murdered.
You never know, maybe.
All right, so the next one we got is All Quiet on the Western Front. This one just says it's going to be released sometime next year. Daniel Bruhl will star in the adaptation. But it's a war novel. Considered by many the greatest war novel of all time, All Quiet on the Western Front is Erich Maria Remarque's masterpiece of the German experience during World War I.
Wait, that is not how you say his name.
How do you say his name?
It's like Erich Maria Remarque.
I'm
pretty sure.
Sorry.
What the hell? I'm pretty sure, but I could be wrong.
So here's a review from the New York Times, book review. The world has a great writer in Erich Maria Remarque. He is a craftsman of unquestionably first rank, a man who can bend language to his will. So I don't know what all that means, but I know it's about the shooty bang bang in World War II, so I'm going to read it.
Shooty bang bang. Oh my god, I can't believe you just said that. I think it'll be interesting, especially for people who are into history or learning about it, for it to be told through the Germans' perspective, so that'd be kind of cool. And I'm, no doubt I'm going to watch it because Abel's going to want to watch it, so I have no choice in the matter. I will be watching it.
So you'll like this one. The next book that's being made into a series is Bridgerton Book Two, which will be season 2 on Netflix.
Yeah.
That'll come next year, 2022. I think I only watched one episode, and because it was a show we were going to watch together,
Okay.
right? She was like, "You'll like it. It's about history." And I was like, "Okay, I'm on board." I watch it. It's barely about history. It's mostly about emotions and it's like drama and kind of stuff. But apparently it's based on a book by Julia Quinn. The second series is based on book 2, which is called The Viscount Who Loved Me.
No, the Viscount.
Oh, is that what they... Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Viscount. There's an S in there. Apparently that S doesn't matter.
Nope.
This time, the gossip columnists have it wrong. London's most elusive bachelor, Anthony Bridgerton, hasn't just decided to marry, he's even chosen a wife! ! The only obstacle is his intended older sister, Kate Sheffield, the most meddlesome woman ever to grace a London ballroom. The spirited schemer is driving Anthony mad with her determination to stop the betrothal. But when he closes his eyes at night, Kate's the only woman haunting his increasingly erotic dream. Jeez!
I know. I mean, yeah, but that author, that's what she's known for. That's what she writes, is these romance
Smutty
novels.
Historical romance?
Yeah, romance novels. And honestly, so good.
When I watched the first episode, Priscilla did not like me watching it with her because I would often point out the historical inaccuracies. I was like, that wouldn't happen, and that wouldn't happen.
I know.
And she was like, you know what? Just go away.
I know, you're ruining it. It's so good.
All right, so the last one we got, my personal favorite, one I am dying to see and read, House of the Dragon / Fire and Blood. This is the George R.R. Martin prequel to Game of Thrones.
Gods. Kings. Fire. And blood. Dreams didn't make us kings. Dragons did.
This one's going to come out, it doesn't say when exactly, just next year sometimes. It's the 10-episode series on HBO. It's, I am sure, going to have a lot of naked people in it. It's going to have a very deep fantasy story, and I'm hoping the political intrigue comes back as well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited to see it just because I've seen all of Game of Thrones. I read the first book and half of the second book. It's just a lot to read. I just don't have time for that. So
it is a lot. I read all of the Game of Thrones books.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And they are super thick, but the story is just so dang good.
But you get every detail.
Yeah.
You're literally living that life. Like
It
you're in it.
Super good. And that's one of the ones where both the show is great and the books are great, but the books are great because of all that extra detail and backstory. Yeah. So if you love the show, definitely read the books because it just gives you more of what you already love.
Yeah. Because I remember there was a lot of parts where I was like, oh, I remember that happening in the show, But now I felt like, wow, there was so much left out. I felt like I got all these really good, like, behind the scenes or, like, extra bonus features or something. I was like, oh, wow.
So if you're left wondering, like, why people do things, the book tells you. George R. R. Martin leaves nothing left out. He tells you why everybody does stuff. You understand all their motivations. Centuries before the events of A Game of Thrones, House Targaryen, the only family of dragon lords to survive the doom of Valyria, took up residence on Dragonstone. Fire and Blood begins their tale with the legendary Aegon the Conqueror, creator of the Iron Throne, and goes on to recount the generations of Targaryens who fought to hold that iconic seat all the way up to the Civil War that nearly tore their dynasty apart.
So do you think they'll be able to somehow, you know, I know it's 300 years prior to what, you know, we come to have known of Game of Thrones, but do you think there's somehow they can squeeze in Jason Momoa just a little bit?
So that was Jason Momoa, right? I didn't even realize that until somebody had mentioned it, like, way later.
Crazy. I think they could put him in somehow.
They were like, yeah, that's Jason Momoa. I was like, oh yeah, he was dark and sexy, wasn't he? I should have known.
I know. How dare you? Yeah, I hope they put him in there.
I'm looking forward to reading the book. I don't normally get invested in very long books. That's why I haven't read Dune yet. I know I'm going to love Dune, but it's just too long for me.
Yeah, it's very long.
But this one, I love George R. R. Martin's writing, and I know it's going to be great. So I'm going to read it. I'm going to watch the show as well.
Yeah, I feel like there's no doubt that it's going to be great.
All the track stations are ready.